All right, looks like we're live. Um, we are back at the Top Bank for what will likely be the last time to try and help people learn TOB. Plus 4 learners. Um, hopefully we can find a couple of people. Dark Ginger. Plus 3 learners. I'll teach. Reptar, if you're in here, feel free to hop in and we can just run one. Because I don't know how long it's going to be before we find other people. But as of right now, I'm looking around at the lobby, and I'm not seeing much. But it's up to you. Still looking for learners. We'll see if Reptar wants to run some norms. Okay. Um, I'll check the board again when I go back over there. But as of right now, there wasn't anybody looking to run. But I'll check the board again. See if anybody applied. Was kind of hoping that there'd be more people that would be wanting to learn, but if not, I guess we'll just like this guy right here. Doesn't look like he's got any knowledge at all about what TOB would be like, but I could be wrong. All right, well, I guess we'll just run some trios. I want to make sure we get Dark some KC at least tonight. See if he's in the stream or not. I think he's trying to find it right now, maybe. Let me know as soon as you're in the stream. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not a big enough name yet. Hopefully he can find. Oh, you got it. Perfect. Alrighty. Welcome. So I was basically just saying that since haven't been able to find anybody at this point, we'll just run some trios and we'll check back at the board between each run and see if there's anybody else that wants to learn. If not, then we'll just run a few norms. If there's anything, if you have questions on any room, just let me know. And I can help out. Reptar, you want south freeze? I'll take north. Yeah, that's usually where most people struggle the most. Is P2, and that's usually where most people would do the best. As far as if they learn P2, that's where you're gonna get the most benefit out of leagues. My opinion. But yeah, we can start it up. Wow. I messed that up. Let's just close our eyes on that one. Don't look too close. It's all good. Should try for a new PB on the trio. I wonder what my trio is. Ooh, I messed that up. I'll just stay on boss. Spec out the boss. That way we're done. Reptar, do you know how to check like a PB for specific size group? Do you do like PB4 TOB or? TOB PBTOB 3. Okay, we'll give that a shot. PBTOB 3. So previously it was 1053. Let's see if we can't beat that. Very nice. Again, Dark, if you have any questions on any of the rooms, feel free to ask. Reptar, do you have range of some sort? I don't have, the only thing I have for range is T-bow. Darts? Yeah, darts will work. All mage. That'll work. I feel like it usually goes pretty smooth in a 3-man at Nilo's. For whatever reason, I feel like it even goes smoother than most 4 and 5 mans. Hit the doubles. Nice. I got both. Well, failed on killing the second one of the 2 doubles, but getting more used to being able to remember the doubles, which is good. Misclicking. That's not good. Dark, remind me, or remind yourself to go and grab, or wait, no, we did determine that. That's right, we did determine that that axe is a 2-tick weapon. Never mind. Ignore me. And we're on cleanup. Very nice. nice. We're on track for a pretty good time here. $5.56 so far. Okay, where are we going? Far right. A little bit on the fast side there, Reptar. Gotta remember we got a guy that's got only a couple KC under his belt with us, so you can send it. Not too shabby. Stepped off a one time. Otherwise, good run. 801. Yeah, I don't think we quite. I think we'd have to run through the mazes to be able to get a new PB for me, anyways. And it probably more so probably comes down to I likely did that with some other people that had like high end gear, but there's a good chance it'll be a new PB for dark. Melee is better than range. But range is a lot easier. Like main game, you're likely going to be using range until you've got the hang of it, or until you learn how to Zarpus walk. Yep, you just stick to the outside. Yep. Basically, when he spits, you just move 2 tiles every time he spits at you. When he looks at you and he spits. So you just have to pay attention who he's looking at. He'll always start looking at me. Like he just did. Very nice. We're gonna start it up quickly here. Make sure you're playing range. Or mage, sorry. Okay, hold on. Let me see. What do you say? Here is it. I wait for her to. Yeah, on Zarpus. Yep. Yep. You don't want to hit her when she's looking at you. So. Alrighty. We will start up this room. Again, keep your HP high. Oops. Melee. Good job. So that was a 1241. Wasn't too bad. Ooh. Dark. Hopefully you get a mega here, man. Good luck, good luck, good luck, good luck. Nice. A Sang Staff. That's points. Congratulations. I'm glad we got you an item. Let's check and make sure there ain't anybody else that's trying to get in. Any learners? I will teach. Elf the Hobo. Where is he at? Elf the Hobo. Let's make sure that he doesn't have a bunch of hard mode Tob. Okay, we do have an actual learner. Nice. Anybody else? I'm back. You a learner? Kinda. But I need one more. Willing to learn. Okay, we'll take them. Oh, I keep forgetting. I was gonna grab a better range setup. That way I would have a range setup. Join my stream, please, on YouTube. Oh, nice. You stream on Twitch. Okay, perfect. You know when you're in. Serenity is the name. All right, Embrace the Exiled is in. How's it going, man? Elf, are you in here? Nice. Good to hear. Good to hear. Elf, you find it? Hey, man, it's totally fine if you're feeling like you are above beginner, but you're still dying. Um, that's what this is all about. This is about teaching everybody. All right, perfect. He's in. So basically, I want to teach you guys based off of main game. So that way, you guys are prepared for after leagues is over. You can go to main game and struggle through, or even try to. Oh, thanks for the sub. I very much appreciate it. But you can very much try to. So like, it's never going to be a direct comparison between leagues and the main game. But what I'll teach you is I'll teach you based off the main game. That way, you understand the true way to do TOBs. Because if you do what you're doing currently, take it to main game, you're likely gonna get kicked out of every TOB that you do. People aren't gonna like you, so on and so forth. But without further ado, we will start up. So this first room is Maiden. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I will explain it. We have the boss is on the west end, and when she gets down to 70% health, if you notice the vent-looking things on the north and south walls that are closest to us, you see those vents. crabs will come out of there. And basically, you need to freeze those crabs because what they do is if they reach the boss, they heal her and they increase her damage that she does to you. So basically, you gotta freeze the crabs and kill the crabs before they reach the boss. If you don't, basically, it's pretty near impossible to complete the room. So she'll do it 3 separate times. She'll do it at 70. If you're only melee, that's totally fine. Don't worry about it. Purple Reptar and myself will take care of the freezing because that's like a whole nother role in and of itself when you're in TOBs, like in the main game. It's like learning a whole new thing basically. But when we'll freeze the crabs, you still want to jump on them and kill them after we freeze them. So you'll have that'll happen 3 times. It'll happen at 70%, 50%, and 30%. And in the main game, you're not going to skip any of them unless you have. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad that I can help you out. So hopefully I can make it a little bit easier learning experience. But basically, shoot. Now I lost my train of thought. Shoot. My bad, guys. Lost train of thought for a second here. So on the 30s, even in the main game, it's not super often that it's skipped. In leagues, you skip it pretty much every time. But I'd like us to go ahead and kill 30s. That way we know. Yep, you kill the crabs that we freeze, and it's a pretty simple room. Just make sure you watch your prayers so that your prayer never drops, and keep protect from melee or protect from mage on. Sorry, and then your best melee attack prayer or melee strength prayer, what do you want to call it? Other than that, just have fun. Reptar, you got south. I'll take north 1-2, and we're good to go. And then also just an additional side pointer. Normally you would first start out the room with everybody in the main game. You'd normally all use your BGS and or Dragon Warhammer specs to reduce the defense. But in leagues, we also have 200% increased accuracy, basically. So we don't need to worry about it. But just so you know, in the main game, that's what you'll be expected to do. No, don't worry about dropping the spec until 30s. When 30s come out, you can go ahead and use your Kopesh as soon as you see 30s come out on the 30 percentile health mark. You can use your Kopesh and spec twice. And it may be that we could skip. We probably could just skip 30s if I'm gonna be honest. But I'll let you guys decide. Do you want to skip 30s or do you want to kill it the normal way? Someone's gotta decide. Either or. Okay, you make my job hard. All right, we'll kill him. We'll just kill him. We're not gonna skip. We'll just kill him. To just make it easier. That way nobody gets confused. All right, sounds good. Let's roll. Oh, I missed twos. Missed twos. I'll get that blood. Likely gonna miss twos because of it. Yeah, and ones. Wow. Okay. But we did freeze the blood, so we didn't have to deal with it messing everybody up. Yeah, we'll have to kill. I don't think we'll have the DPS to. Yeah, we'll have to kill the crab. Use your specs. Good job, guys. Alrighty, on to the next one. Yeah, yup, the bloods can get kind of sneaky. Ooh, I almost accidentally started. Okay, bloat. This one's pretty simple. Basically, bloat will go in one direction or the other. He randomly decides when he wants to change directions. When he's down, his lights will flash before he goes down. So all those little yellow dots on him will flash, and then when they turn black, that's when you're able to attack him safely. When he's up and walking, you have to be on the opposite side of the pillar of him. If not, you're gonna cause flies to come and hit you, and they will hit you and any of your teammates that are also on the same wall as you, essentially, or same side of the pillar as you. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Just pray range, piety up, and good luck, have fun. This is the only room you're comfortable with. Okay. Yeah, it is a pretty simple room, so. Alright, he's down. Very nice. Got the easy one down. On to the next. That's you in real life. You talking about bloat? Yeah. Oh, so you're pretty strong, and you can spit out flies, which is pretty crazy. You look like that, so you're white. Okay, nice. Nilos. Let's see here. Who had anybody got range? Hey man, you can always make a change. It's up to you to make that change, but you can't make a change if you feel that way about yourself. Okay, so Hobo's got range, okay. And okay, so yeah, we'll have Embrace and Ginger, melee. Elf will range. He's got blowpipe. He should be good by himself. I will rotate through, but I'll primarily mage then. This room pretty simple. You have little Nilos and medium-sized Nilos that randomly come down as waves. You want to focus the in this order. You want to focus. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry. What's up? What's going on? Keep exposing though. Explaining. Okay. All right. Yep. Okay. So basically, the order of operations is you'll first attack the aggro Nilos first, whether they be the medium ones or the small Nilos, or I should say big or small. Then the next thing you'll do is you'll attack the small Nilos, and then finally the big Nilos. The reason you do that is because the small Nilos, when you kill them, they disappear. When the big Nilos, you kill them, they will turn into 2 small Nilos every time you kill a big one. So you want to always focus aggro first, then small Nilos, then big Nilos. If you hit one wrong, so if you, for instance, if you're melee and you hit a green Nilo with melee, you won't be able to damage that Nilo anymore, and it will reflect back the damage to you, and it'll do a reject noise. It'll be like or something like that. Basically, it's telling you, "Hey, look, you attacked me with the wrong thing, and that's why you're not going to be able to do any damage to me." So basically, you just ignore it, move on to another one, because what it'll do is it'll eventually change colors, and somebody else will be able to kill it then. Um, at the end, we'll have the Nilo boss, and basically, you just want it always starts on melee, the Nilo boss. So you want to play melee and attack it with melee, and then from that point forward, it'll switch to it's random which way it switches, whether it's range mage, and so on and so forth. But the order of operations on the um, Niloboss is always pray first, then switch your weapon and or gear, then attack. Yep. You're mage. That is fine. Okay. If anybody doesn't have any questions, we're good to go. Go. All right. Sounds good to me. Make sure you guys pot up. And if there's ever like a lull, and you see a bunch of the opposite style in the room, you're more than welcome to switch your weapon out and try to do some damage to them to help everybody else out. Oh, we both froze the same one. It's alright. Am I Canadian? I am not Canadian, but I'm very close to it. I am from Minnesota. Wisconsin, nope. Minnesota. So you must know the Midwestern dialect. Yep. Personally, I think we have very, very good dialect, but I don't know. Other people think it's kind of funny, but I think it's just cool. South Dakota, okay. Ooh. Alright. Freeze them pillars. Okay, we're good to go. Make sure you're praying melee. If you're gonna dump specs, you dump it right at the beginning here. Just because it's easy to do without having to switch. Very nice. Good job. Any questions on that room while we're going to the other one? I'm a very good teacher. Well, you know, I'm starting to believe that a little bit. It seems like everybody's saying that, so I'm starting to believe that maybe I am a decent teacher. All right, the most troublesome room for people that are learning. This is the most troublesome, I would say. Everyone just runs through. No, that's my answer for that. No, nobody runs through. We do the maze as in you do it normally in main game. In main game, if you try to run through, too many people are going to take too much damage, and or multiple people might end up dying. You got to remember, in leagues we have 15% reduced damage automatically right off the top. So in the main game, oh, you mean with my teaching? Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. I'm just the better I can teach you guys, the better you'll be off in the long run, and the more likely you are to subscribe to my channel. So that's why I do it the way I do it, I guess. So make sure you guys have these tiles marked around Soda's Egg. The gold ones, the gold tiles, are for doing 4-man TOBs, and the red ones are for when you're doing 5-man. So when you're doing 4-man, everybody will just step on a gold, and when the big ball comes out, the big red ball, energy ball comes out, everybody will meet at the red front center tile, and then they'll go back. They'll after they share the damage, you'll go back to your separate tiles, and then in a 5-man, the southeastern corner gold tile will get moved up a little bit to where the red is, and then the 5th guy will end up being in the stand on the ball share tile. Okay, and then as far as the maze goes, basically this red line represents the do not run past line. So whoever's running the maze, you will make sure. Here's the biggest thing to remember when you're running the maze: how the maze looks for people who are not running it. We can only see where you click on the maze. That's all we can see. So to give you an example of what I mean by that is, say you click on the second tile right here. You click on this tile right here. We can't tell if you meant to click on this one and then that one, or if it actually goes here up and over. So if you click right here and we're all standing right here and we click right there, guess what? We're all going to walk on a tile that we're not supposed to, and we're all going to take damage. So it's very important that you make sure you start off with the very first tile in first tile in the row, wherever it ends up being, wherever the maze ends up being. You make sure you click on the first 3 rows of tiles. Make sure you click on them up to the 3rd row. When you get to the 3rd row, and what I mean by click on them is you'll click on it, you'll walk to that tile, walk to the next one, and then walk to the 3rd row. When you're on the 3rd row, chill out, stay there for about 5 seconds. This is the hardest thing for new people, is to learn that, like, it's okay. I don't need to be running right now. I just need to chill out and wait for my teammates because they're behind me. Remember that your teammates are behind you when you're running. So that's why you chill out on the third row in. Yeah, when you're leading, you could literally sit there for a minute if you want. Multiple minutes. You'll take like a couple damage every like 10 or 15 seconds. You'll take like 3 or 5 damage or something from this like micro black tornado. But other than that, no, you literally take like hardly anything for damage. Like it's very minimal. So yeah, you can chill there all day if you want it, but typically, no, it's not tick dependent at all. So it has everything to do with how far into the maze you are. So as soon as you step onto any of the fourth tile or fourth row tiles, that's when the tornado starts. So on our end, so you won't see the tornado, but it'll just know that there's a tornado that started, and it's creeping up to your teammates. So as soon as you step on that fourth tile, the tornado starts on the first row of tiles, and it follows the maze exactly. It'll follow all the tiles in the maze. So that's why it's important to pause on this third row. Make sure you wait there for like 4 or 5 seconds so your teammates all catch up, and they're all waiting on this, but you can't see them. But just trust that they're there. After 4 or 5 seconds, then you got to make sure that you. I'll tell you a big tip. Big tip is to put your camera north, zoom in so that it's harder to misclick. The further zoomed in you are, the harder it is to misclick. Obviously, you don't go so far in that you can't see the maze. You want to be able to see a couple tiles ahead of you, so zoom in, and that's how you'll get a lot more accurate clicks when you go to do the maze. So number one is accuracy, number two is speed when it comes to after you've waited on the third row in. So you wait on the third row in, and then you run the rest of the maze. How I recommend clicking on the maze, and what seems to work very well, is to make sure that you just click on the ends of each straight. Once you get better, people will expect you to cut corners, and there's like a website you can go to, and you can learn how to do that. But for starters, so say this is the maze, so on and so forth after the third row. So if you're standing right there and you've waited 4 or 5 seconds, the next tiles you'd click that tile. Then you'd wait. You have to wait until your character gets there, or until your true tile gets there. So if you notice me, I have these 4 corners, little blue dashes. That's actually my true tile indicator. So it tells me exactly where I am in the game. So a lot of times, I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of times your character is not where your character is. Where you can visually see your character is not where your character actually is in the game's memory. So, and that's why you have true tile. So if you watch when I run, you see how my true tile stays in front of me this whole time? True tile gets there before my character's animation is there. So that's where I'm actually at. So basically what you'll do is you'll run, and if you don't have true tile, just go based off of when your character gets to that tile. But you don't want to be paused on that tile for too long. You don't want to stall on any of these tiles for too long, because remember, as soon as you start on this tile, a tornado is going to start right here, and it's going to start chasing your teammates. So basically you'd click this tile, then the next one you do is you'd click this tile, then you'd click this tile, then you'd click this tile, then you'd click this tile, so on and so forth until you finish the maze. Once you're comfortable enough with clicking the ends of the straights, then you can start learning how to cut the corners. But until then, don't try it. Just click the ends of each straight. It just makes it so much easier for learning. And plus, no one's going to say anything, even in the main game, if you're clicking the ends of each straight. Nobody's going to say anything. Because you know what? Everybody has their own preferences at the end of the day. So, don't even worry about it. Other than that, Sodazeg attacks with all 3 styles. So he'll attack with melee, mage, and range. For the most part, most everybody. Give me 1 second. I got to kick my kid out of the room here because they just farted. Sorry about that. Yep, love a good fart, except for when it smells, right? Okay. So the mage attacks will be a red orb, and the range attacks will be a black orb. Most people, it's the same for 5 and 4. It's this front red one, front middle red one. That's your DD tile for both 5-man and 4-man. So in 5-man, someone will stand on these back 2. They'll stand on that red front right red one. the front middle red one, and then the front left gold one for a 5-man. 4-man, you just stand on each of the gold tiles. So there's 5 of us, so 2 people will stand on each of the red tiles, and the other 3 will stand on the other 3 gold tiles. Most of the time in the main game, unless you're really quick at switching, most of the time you'll just focus primarily the orbs, and you'll protect against mage and range, because it's not super common that like his accuracy on his melee attack is not super high, so he doesn't hit you super often. So yeah, basically in the main game, most of the time, especially for new people, just focus on the orbs, and you'll just eat up when you get hit if you get hit by a melee. So okay, we can start it up. Okay, this guy oofta. Okay, we're gonna have to just run it, guys, just run it. Who ran that one? Let's see. I'm not sure who just ran that one. But just FYI, you ran off a lot of tiles, like more than 4. Basically we ended up having to just run to the end, because otherwise it would have killed us if we would have kept going on the path that you were on. So try to be more accurate, less fast, because you were way fast, plenty good enough fast, but you weren't accurate, so it doesn't matter how fast you are if you're not accurate. Reptar, you can eat up if you need. I'm gonna run it. That one was fine. Whoever ran that one was fine. It's just we had one guy that lagged behind. He was typing. Embrace was typing. So sorry about that. If Embrace wouldn't have been typing, it would have been totally fine. But because Embrace was typing, that's what caused us to fall behind, because we were trying to wait for him. So I don't mean to like, yeah. It was just, yeah, it was your fault, but I don't want to like, point fingers at you and say, you're the reason that, but at the end of the day, as long as you're willing to accept that, yeah, that it was your fault. Yes. But yep. Okay, so this room, if you guys don't have them marked, make sure you mark these yellow inner tiles. They are very important. Must have. And then go ahead and mark the tile where the boss is, so that way you can never miss an attack. Yeah, I'm totally for it. It's just I have to kind of feel out the situation as far as constructive criticism goes, because certain people hate to be criticized. So I have to try and be gentle as possible when it comes to doing that. So I try to do the best I can, but I'm not always perfect, and sometimes my emotions get the best of me, like anybody else. But I try to keep cool the best I can. So as far as this one goes, you want to make sure that you got the yellow circle tiles marked and the one underneath the boss. The one underneath the boss is for so you never misclick. So instead of trying to, yeah, we are only human. Yep, that's exactly right. And I make mistakes just as much as anybody else. So basically, when Zarpus flies up in the air, you don't want to ever be trying to click him in the air. You want to just click on that tile right below him, and that will always make you attack him. Instead of trying to click attack on his body, you'll always just click that tile, and that'll always click attack. That'll be your way of attacking him, because that's where his tile. That's where he's registered at in the game. So basically, the first portion of this fight, I shouldn't even say portion of the fight. First first step in this room is just stepping on the exhumed. There'll be pools of exhumed, and if you don't step on them, what happens is these little yellow balls will go and fly to Zarpus, and what they do is they heal him, giving him more HP, and they give him defensive levels. So as long as you step on him, he doesn't gain those. So yep, and in main game, it's definitely a big focus. It's not so much of a focus in leagues because we have 200% accuracy, so it's pretty hard for us to miss in the first place. But it's good practice to just step on them anyways. Then after a minute or two of that, then the actual fight will start. And what Zarpus will do is he'll start by looking at somebody, and that somebody is always first in the orb order. So if you look at the top left of your screen, there'll be the red orbs with the initials in them. So he'll always focus the leader first, and then it will be orb order. So he'll look at me first, spit a green poison at me, and it'll land on the tile in which he sees me on. Then he'll look at dark ginger, spit a orange or a green acid at him. Then he'll look at purple, elf, embrace, and then he'll loop back and do it again. So he'll keep doing that until you get him down to around 30%. Sometimes it's procced at about 28%, and sometimes it procs at about 34%. But roughly 30% is when he'll screech. When you see the screech, that's when you stop attacking, and that's where the yellow tiles come into play. So you never want to step on these during the first part of the fight. You don't want to get poison on them. You can step on all the other ones around it, but don't step on the yellow ones. Worst case scenario, if you don't have any more room to walk, you can always just go to the back, like move your way to the outside wall and switch to your ranged weapon and just range them. That's what a lot of people do in the main game, is a lot of people will range. It's probably 50-50 nowadays as to whether or not you melee or range at this point. But yeah, so there's that. And then so then the second part of the fight is basically he'll screech, and the quadrant that he looks in, so if he's looking in the southeast quadrant, which would be these two yellow tiles, if you're standing on either of those two yellow tiles and you attack him while he's looking in that direction, you will die or you will take a lot of damage. So basically, you just need to be in any of the other three quadrants that he's not looking at before you can attack. But if I'm standing on either of these two southeastern tiles and I don't attack him, guess what? I'm fine. Nothing happens to me. I'm totally fine. No damage, nothing. So it's only if you attack him while he's looking at you. So, and then he'll turn after about, I believe it's 8 ticks, I believe. Every 8 ticks, he'll change his direction in which he looks. And basically, you just want to attack 2 times or so. And then what I like to do is click the ground below me. So if you click the ground below you, if you're in combat and then you click the ground below you, you'll stop attacking. So just remember that. If you frantically don't know what to do and he turns your way and you're about ready to shoot an arrow, just click the ground. It'll stop your arrow. It'll stop you from shooting the arrow. But if you've already released on your arrow, it's still the projectile will still hit him and he'll still do damage to you. So yeah, just basically don't be in the way that he's looking and attack at the same time. Sound good? The yellow outside tiles is for when you want to learn melee walking. I don't even know how to do it, but I've had them marked for a long time. But yeah, I still myself don't even know how to Zarpus walk, just because I've always done range around the outside edge of the room in the main game. Yeah, I think it's pretty cut and dry. Let's go ahead and get it done. Oh, another thing to remember is that normally wherever you're at in this room would be usually like the same corner that you pick in Soda's Egg. So in Soda's Egg, whichever corner you pick in, normally that's where you'll be at in this room as well. So like if you're in the front center, you'd be in that front area. If you're in the back right, you'd be back here, so on and so forth. And the reason for that is because it transfers from Sodazeg's room to Zarpa's room to Verzik's room. So wherever you're at here will be the same position that you'll want to be at in Verzik's room. So I'll take like the northeast tiles at Verzik, and Elf will take like the southeast tiles. Reptar will take the south wall tiles, and then Embrace, you'll take the northwest tiles, and Dark will take the southwest tiles when we get to Verzik. So just remember that. Try to stay like in your quadrant. Except for unless you're a ranger. If you're a ranger, you can kind of move around. But meleers, you try to stay in your quadrant for the most part. Okay, so he screeched. So now what you want to do is you don't want him to be looking at you when you attack. Good job. All right. So remember where you're going to be standing. So I'll be on these two tiles here, roughly. The only reason why I say roughly is because if he sends a purple crab, I don't have a poison weapon to take care of it, so likely it'll block up like these 3 tiles here. So then I'll probably do where I'll do like this tile and then these 2 over here. But make sure you have all these tiles marked. These tiles are very important. And then when you Dark, are you range 6 or are you melee 6? Sorry, I forget. Melee, okay. Yeah, so you definitely want to use melee in this room. Put your range gear away. That way you can learn how to actually do P2. I'd rather you die learning how to do P2 than to get through the raid and use a blowpipe. Because otherwise you're not learning anything. Like honestly, like I would want you to learn versus just trying to get a kill. Just so you know better and it helps you get better as a player. So I will be on this tile or these tiles roughly. Who is? Oh, okay, yeah, yep. And then I think it was Dark. Were you the one that was southeast area? So you'll be on these 2 tiles here. And if a crab spawns, you can use this one as well. Like if a crab spawns right here and it's kind of in your way of clicking, you can use this one right here. Reptar will be on these 3 here, right in the middle. And then yep, you got the 2 over here, and you got these 2 over here. And yep, that'll work great. If a crab spawns right in the middle there, then just rotate to where you'll use these 2 right here, and the corner one if you need to. And then same with up here, you'll use these 2 and the corner one if you need to, or you could even go these 3 like that. But basically, so the yellow tile in the middle, this is, if you click here, you'll always attack Verzik and you'll never misclick. So you're always going to be able to attack Verzik if you click on this center tile in the middle of the room during P2. Might have missed it. Is there a reason we don't want to be clumped? Yes. There is a reason. So when he shoots a range ball, he shoots it at all of us, not just one of us. So if we're all like right here and one person steps over here during a range shot and somebody else steps right here, or someone misclicks the boss and runs through, and then on their way back they click back here, guess what? That person's gonna die. And on top of that, so it's not only that, but it's also the mage attack. So Verzik also has a mage ball, a big blue mage ball attack. And what you need to do is you need to get that to cycle through her. Because if you don't cycle it through her, it ramps up damage. And if you're standing right here, this is technically on Verzik's tile. From here all the way to here, you're on Verzik. So basically, by standing on these tiles right here and right here, if the blue mage ball hits you, it swings over to the next guy, which is over here. It passes through Verzik in the process. Even though it looks like it goes along the side of her, it's actually going through her. So that's the reason why. And then it goes over here, and then it'll go through Verzik over to Reptar. It'll go through Verzik over to you, and then it'll come to me, and then it has to go through Verzik again. So you're always keeping the damage from ramping up, because every time the mage ball goes to another player, but it doesn't pass through Verzik, it ramps the damage up on it. On the mage ball attack, the big blue mage ball attack. So there's 3 different attacks in P2, or 4 different attacks. There's her melee bounce. You can get bounced off from melee. There's her big blue mage ball attack, which you don't need to worry about as long as you're kind of keeping, and as long as you're not running like way over here and staying over here. Like if a crab comes your way and you need to run over here, that's fine. But then just make your way back to the yellow tiles. Because the longer you are away from here, the more it'll mess up the timing on Verzik's attacks as well. Basically, the further you are from the boss, the slower her range attack becomes. But then her next attack is still at normal speed. So it'll actually speed up that next attack. And it'll hit you when you're not expecting it. And in the main game, likely that means you're dead. So, so then obviously her green ball is her range attack. Timing for P2 is, well, there's 2 different ways to do it. Reptar knows of a way that he uses the area sounds, and it's when you hear a chain effect, that's when you'd click. I initially learned TOB doing it based off of just visual rhythm, muscle memory. But now I kind of switched a little bit to just going off of when. So if you attack when she drops down, she'll drop down when she does her attacks. When she drops down, you can click on her and attack. And then when you see the green range ball hit the floor, as soon as it makes contact with the floor, you click right on where that range ball went. You'll click on that spot, and then you'll click back on attack. You'll click back on that range splat. As soon as it hits the ground and splats, you'll click right on it, and then you'll go right back. So you're only off the boss for basically 1 tick, and then you're right back on with melee. Again, it's just a learning curve. Take your time. That's what learners are for, and you're not going to get it the first 50 times you do TOB. It's just going to be learning, just like anything else in this world. P1, normally you'd start right here on this tile, but in leagues we'll start right here just because you just tank it the whole time. But normally you'd start here, and the first guy would use the 2 specs, drop the staff in place. The next guy would pick it up, and on his way back, if he's good, he'll be able to get 1 spec off on his way back. And then when after the first mage attack, he'll come out, do 1 more spec, and then he'll go here and drop the staff for player number 3. But most people will grab the staff and they'll just run behind the pillar, and then after the mage shot comes, then they'll do 2 specs, run behind the pillar, drop the staff for the next guy, so on and so forth. And then when whoever doesn't have the staff, which is the other 4 people, they would run up to Verzik and attack her 2 times, and then run right back behind the pillar. 1 tip is for running behind the pillars, don't click on the tile, because that's where people drop the staff. Where you actually want to click, if you're watching the stream, is right on the ledge of the backside of the pillar, right in the middle, right on that tile. If you click on that tile, it's not, it doesn't it doesn't exist to be able to reach that tile, so it'll actually run you right to the safe spot. So if you're up front, you click right on the back edge of that pillar right in the middle, and it'll always put you right on that safe tile. So that way you don't click right on where the staff is, and you get about right here, and somebody else picks it up, and boom, you stop running, and now you get hit from a mage attack by Verzik. And you know, you can usually tank one mage attack, but just depends on how high your health is as well, because it can hit like well into the 80s with protect mage on. So P3 sorry, during P2, P1 you'll pray mage. During P2 you'll start with pray range. When the 2 red crabs spawn on either side of Verzik, you'll switch to pray mage. The reason being that is because she'll majorly I'm tongue tied on that word, but she'll most often use her mage attack during the second part when the healing crabs come out. She will periodically still throw a range attack, so be aware of that. So you always still want to be trying to move whenever she does an attack, just to make sure, because if it's a range attack, you don't want to get hit by the orb while you're attacking the red crabs. And then in P3, you will have to change your prayers accordingly. So a green projectile, that's the pray range. A blue orb, that's pray mage, and blue lightning means you just got melee'd, and that shouldn't happen if you're good at tanking. But more often than not, somebody's not going to know how to tank. Even in the main game, someone's not going to know how to tank, and likely you'll get melee'd once or twice. So it's one of those things where you just have to always make sure that you're above like 70 HP, because yes, the melees do hurt. If you want to know how to tank, it's pretty simple. For instance, say Verzik is on the tile that I have marked as Verzik. You can't imagine learning. Yeah, it's rough for a lot of people without a walkthrough, that's for sure. Basically, so if Verzik is on the tile there, and I want to learn how to do tank, basically it'll attack me. So it'll choose a person who are, because we'll all be standing right around it, and it'll choose one person as the tank. Whoever it chooses, it'll spin towards them and attack them. It's not going to do a melee attack right away. It almost always starts with a range or a mage. I don't think it ever does a melee on its very first attack, but I could be wrong. I don't think I've ever seen a melee on its first attack anyways. But anyways, so it'll do that first attack. As soon as it does it, don't worry about attacking. Just shift, click, and walk under. That'll force you under her. And then she'll like try to move around a little bit, and then after 2 ticks or 3 ticks or whatever, you'll see her body like light up to do the next attack, whether it's mage or range. And as soon as you see that happen, that's when you know you can click right where you're standing, and because you'll be underneath her, and that'll click to attack her, and that'll force you out from underneath her. So you'll attack her, and then you'll do the same thing. As soon as you go out and you see your XP drop land, you can shift click to walk right back under again, and just keep repeating that. So she'll attack you. As soon as you see the attack start, click on her, and it'll force you out from underneath her. You'll attack her once, and then shift click, walk right under her again, and just keep doing that. During tornadoes, it can get hectic. What I tend to do is, like during tornadoes, is I'll do shift click, walk under, and then I'll rotate my camera a little bit, and I'll click pass to the right after she does her attack. And that way, when I click attack, I'm already running this way underneath her. So that way I'm on the opposite side of her, so the tornado isn't hitting me. And then I'll run this way a little bit, and then shift click back underneath her, so the tornado kind of goes one way and then has to go back under. But usually you end up, most people, unless they're really good at tanking, end up, accidentally getting a melee or 2 during the process. It's not very easy to do when everything's going on and your brain is, really going into it. Any questions? I don't know if I covered everything or not, but We all good? If that's the case, I will go ahead and start it up. So if you want practice running behind the pillar, you're more than welcome to. It's actually probably a good idea to do that. So you'd run behind, make sure you eat up, and then you'd go in and attack, run behind, and when her legs open all the way, that's when you can click back on the boss for timing, if that's what you're wondering. You can get 2 attacks off, the legs open all the way up, you can click back on the boss again. Oh, I'm taking damage there. But yeah, you can basically... And then the safe spot on the pillars, on the second row of pillars, is on the sides, not behind them. I was northeast, if I remember right. Click back on the splat. Click back on the splat, go forward. Click back on the splat, go forward. When crabs come out, just play it safe. To pop a crab, basically you gotta be within 1 tile of it. So basically you'll run towards it and then run away from it, and that'll pop the crab. Mage. Remember to move when she attacks, that way in case it's a range attack, doesn't kill you. Oh, whoops. We can skip after this one, I think. Okay, so I'll give you guys an example of what you do when you tank. So it attacked, I go back out, do a hit, go back under. It attacks, go back out, do a hit, go back under. And you just keep repeating that. And if you need to eat, you can go back under, and you'll have plenty enough time to eat still. Melee, sorry about that. This is where it gets kind of difficult, is when you have the tornadoes going off at the same time. Go ahead and just spec it out there. Good job, guys. Good luck on getting a purple. Man, our purple luck with normals has been kind of crazy. Is this? I think this might be 3rd one in a row. Oh, it's Reptars. Bummer. Grazi Rapier. Grats. I don't know if you've got that already, but... MVP. The MVP is Purple Reptar. Like always. Guy's an absolute boss, man. Yeah, not a problem, man. I don't know how many more raids I can do. Actually, it is. All right, Reptar's out. Okay. Yeah, I gotta go say goodnight to the kids. I have to get off. As much as I would like to help you guys get even more KC, I can't. Sorry, I gotta keep my priorities straight. So, but But yeah, it was good to see you guys in the stream. Thanks for coming in, and hopefully you learned something, and hopefully you guys can get some main game Casey at some point. Um, if I did teach you anything and you're wanting to let me know by thanking me, you can thank me by hitting the subscribe button. Otherwise, a like on the stream would be great. But yeah, otherwise, you guys can have a good night. And thanks for trusting me to teach you guys. With that said, I am going to head on out. You guys have a good night.